Hello everyone, thank you for tuning in. As always, I am Kaylee Batesman, the content director at SheCanCode, and today we're talking about data science. Data scientists turn raw data into something that is actually meaningful to businesses. They are in popular demand, but not everyone understands what they do and why their role is so important. So why would young women consider a career in this area? Today, I'm joined by the amazing Salim, Associate Data Scientist at Moonpig, to share with us her experiences so far as an early career data scientist. Welcome, Ash.
Hello, thank you so much for having me. Very excited.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Now, for those that don't know, Ash actually featured on one of our recent webinar panels as she was discussing her career transition into tech. So we're going to touch on that a little bit later today in this podcast. But for now, Ash, can we start with a little bit of background about yourself, please?
Yes, so currently I'm an associate data scientist. However, I recently finished my master's in AI and data science. And during this time, I actually worked as a customer service advisor for the gift experience company that Moonpig recently acquired. And during this time, there was a town hall meeting, and I managed to ask for an internship here, and they offered me an internship in data science and cybersecurity. And now I work full time.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to go on and ask you, how did you land your role at Moonpig? But actually, you just put it out there, didn't you? You just said, can I have an internship? And I mean, they say you don't ask, you don't get, and that's what happened. I take it, they were just very open to hearing about your story and coming on board.
Yeah, so a main factor why I actually really enjoyed the town hall meeting was because I was really interested in technology, and they were just explaining how the tech in at Moonpig worked. And I just thought, wow, like, I'm really interested in this. I want to know more about it. And I was just asking the senior leadership team questions about how the tech works at the company. And I thought, I do my master's in AI and data science. I do understand what is happening, kind of thing. So I just asked, and I was like, actually, I'm really interested in it. I like to kind of see it in action. And I just went for it, yeah.
Do you think, I mean, because you took, sounds like a technical degree, but is it perhaps you hadn't made the connection maybe into what careers you could go into? We hear that a lot. I suppose there's that you do what you think you need to do at uni, and perhaps nobody has come in and actually explained to you, this is what your job would look like. Is that something you found?
Absolutely. I thought there's so many different options. Like, for example, a few of my friends did software engineering, other people did product management, and I just didn't know what to do with the degree I had. And it was really technical. It was data science and artificial intelligence. So I wasn't too sure, should I go into artificial intelligence? Should I go into data science? Maybe there's something else out there. And I just fell in love with, once I heard about the tech use at Moonpig, how they actually implement data as a data-driven company, I thought this is perfect. This is exactly what I wanted to get into, and it kind of like sparked that inspiration.
Yes, and a great degree to. How did you have that thought? Was there something? What did you want to be when you were younger? Was there something that led you to that degree path?
Yeah. So when I was younger, I was really, really interested in computers. I really liked how computers worked. I really like picking apart our family computer and seeing what works in what kind of thing, breaking everything at home.
I bet you were popular in your house. Yeah,
exactly. And so I actually initially then wanted to transition into medicine. I wanted to be a doctor, and I thought, wow, like, such a professional career, and like I see myself potentially doing, like, becoming a doctor. However, it was in A levels, I thought, I really like biology, but I really like computer science, and I haven't done computer science at like GCSE level. Maybe I can try and explore it here in my A levels. And the teacher I had was just like, no, I don't think you should do computer science. I don't think it's for you, kind of thing. And I was like, but I really want to try and do it as a degree, because it's near like the ending of like A levels, where you pick out your university choice. I was like, I really want to do it. And she was like, no, I just don't think it's good for you. Like, I think you should just maybe do medicine kind of thing, or like something sciencey. And I remember having this conversation with my parents, being like, I don't know what to do. I'm in a bit of a pickle. I really like computer science, but I've never done it before, and I've been told not to do it. What do I do? And they were like, let's have a look. And that's where we saw a university offered computer science and neuroscience. So I did my undergrad in both, where it gave me that element of computer science, that exposure into the actual theory foundations of it. But I also really did enjoy neuroscience, and that gave me more insight on how the human brain works. How can I try and combine this gap between between neuroscience and computer science? And this is where like the whole AI thing fell in from it. And then I was like, wow, I'm doing that. Picked my master's in AI and ended up also taking data science, because they're very interconnected. Both of them degrees are very interconnected. So it was just perfect that I just landed in data science after.
Yeah. Oh, amazing. That is amazing. And lovely that you found a university that enabled you to at least keep your options open in your mind. So you weren't, closing yourself down and just picking something. It's interesting that you went from medicine to tech as well, because I speak to a lot of ladies on here who say a lot of people don't realize that when you go into the tech industry, you're actually doing something for good. You're helping people. And a lot of people just think it's going to be quite dry, your day-to-day is quite boring, but actually you solve a lot of real world problems for businesses and for people. And it's lovely to hear that actually that you had that mindset years ago where you thought, I want to be in a career where I help people.
Exactly.
And you did get there.
In the end, no, I absolutely love it. And I think jumping from like a medicine mindset to a computer science mindset was quite easy, because a lot of the skills are quite transferable in terms of critical thinking, in terms of like thinking of creative solutions. You tend to do that as a doctor, but also as a computer scientist, you try to think from different perspectives. And I think it worked out very well, like the jumping across into that mindset.
Yes, yeah, definitely. And at Moonpig, can you give us a little bit of an insight into your day-to-day? You hear data science, you think it's going to be dry. You don't sound like you have a boring job. What is your day-to-day like?
So as many people know, Moonpig is a online card and gift retailer. So if you want to send your loved one a card, you go Moonpig and you shoot them the best card. But we also sell gifts attached to the card. And I work a lot with these recommendation algorithms that try and find you the best card. For example, for your mum, you want to buy her a really nice card that's quite different to everything else you see in like a supermarket. And we want to give you the perfect gift for that. So I work very closely optimizing these algorithms and personalizing it, just so it's the ultimate like gifting companion. And I really enjoy what I do. It's really like creative, trying to think of like different perspectives. Oh, how can we improve this actually? Oh, we've got this. How can we then change it into what we want to do it for later? So yeah.
Amazing. That sounds it's so interesting when you like I said, when you hear data scientist, I think people get the wrong impression as to what your job will be, but most people will be able to relate to Moonpig as a company, and actually how all of that feeds through to us being able to get the right product.
Exactly.
In terms of skills and qualifications, what do you think you need for that? That sounds incredibly complex, but yourself, obviously, you come from quite an impressive background, and you went through AI and data science. Have you heard from other colleagues as well that there are other ways that you can get in? Does it have to be as technical as it sounds?
No, I think definitely there's so many different resources that offer. So a lot of data scientists work with Python or R or SQL. So get all the data from SQL, then you put it into a Python script, and you work off that Python script to create models for your algorithms. And at first, I was like learning the theory side of it through my master's degree, but it's really different in the industry. So it's very fast paced, and there's a lot of different elements of it that it's quite simplified at university, but I think going from a lot of resources I've seen online that provide courses in SQL or Python offer you this like segmented elements where you pick up different pieces of code and you try to create something like bigger out of it. And I think I wish I knew that a bit earlier, because it's really useful. I'm still consistently like learning new ways of improving my coding knowledge. You don't have to know it all to get into it, and I think just having that curiosity of, okay, this works with this, so I'm going to try and do this. How can I do that? Where would I find this? Just adds it all up together, and it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. And you just saying there, you know, actually when you get into the industry, things are very different. So that internship, then that must have really bridged that gap for you. Do you think you would have, how would you have felt if you hadn't been on an internship and you'd just been thrown in the deep end? You know, I suppose that it was invaluable really to go through that.
Yeah, I think definitely I used to panic about it. I used to be like, I don't have any industrial experience. I don't know like a lot. You know, or some of my peers were getting internships back when we did undergraduate level. So I was like panicking, thinking, oh God, I have all this theoretical knowledge, which is great, but how can I apply it to a business? How can I tell the business this is what they need from me? And this internship was such a fantastic opportunity, but I also know not a lot of people would have access to internships. So I think shadowing or asking for like maybe a week's placement can get you that, like bridge that gap as well for a lot of people. I also think that having bigger data sets that some of these courses provide give you that, like mimics that feel of an industry, like of a business standard. So I think definitely a lot of people could look into that if they haven't got an internship opportunity.
Yes, yeah, definitely. And I love that, because there are just so many ways in. I'm assuming, you know, do you have a lot of colleagues as well that probably feel exactly the same way as yourself? You know, they've made their way into the industry, and like you said, they might have a lot of knowledge in terms of theory, and they've got the qualifications, but actually they're not quite sure until they get into the job. And you know, what about people? Do you have any colleagues like yourself? They might have transitioned into tech, and you know they might not actually have as many technical qualifications, and you know they might be sitting there thinking, oh my gosh, what have I done? But I'm assuming Moonpig are, by the sounds of it, a very supportive company anyway, which regardless of how you make it into the company.
Yeah, definitely. I think what surprises a lot of people that in a tech company, not every role is technical. So I have some colleagues that work in non-technical roles, such as like product management, project management. And I was speaking to one of my colleagues recently who transitioned from the law industry into the technical product management industry. And she was just like saying, there's so many transferable skills that you pick up in like a previous career that you can just utilize. And I think having that supportive network around you in the company allows for that, for you to grow and develop a lot more. So it made me feel confident that, wow, I'm not the only person here who, you know, maybe hasn't had experience here in tech. But also I work with a lot of people who are great and have had many years in the tech space that are really good at what they do, but they're also consistently learning with me as well. If I, for example, come across something new, I'm just like, hi, have you seen this new thing? Like, how does it work? And they're like, oh no, I'm not too sure, but maybe we can try and do it together. And I think having that support from my managers, from my team, really like allows me to grow as well as allows them to grow.
Yes. Oh, that's a really nice environment to be in, and to retain talent as well within a company. You know, if you got somewhere and you felt that you worked very siloed and you worked on your own, you're not going to stick around long, are you?
Exactly.
In terms of your time so far as a data scientist, have you faced any challenges? And if so, how did you overcome them?
Yes, definitely the biggest challenge I had was how fast-paced everything was. At the start, it was such a shock, like, oh my God, there's about 7 meetings this week that I have no notes on because it's gone so fast, and you know, I'm trying to get business context but I haven't been in the business long, and it's like, oh god, I wonder what that word stands for, or you have a lot of them feelings. But I think just slowing it down, taking a breather, just messaging people, hey, we were in the meeting earlier, can you just quickly just summarize for you these points, and just having that reassurance from my team, my managers, from our cross-functional teams, and having that space to ask the questions like, hey, sorry, I didn't pick that up last meeting, can you just explain what that was again? Just allows you to overcome these challenges, and it has allowed me personally to overcome a lot of them.
Yeah, I suppose there's a lot more. I think when we all reach the world of work as well, it's that baptism of fire of I'm in work, and it's not always the technical side of things. Sometimes, like you said, with the pace, it's just getting into the rhythm of the company that you've joined. And you know, after a little while, you're absolutely fine. And you know, newbies will be asking you, have you got this and have you got that? Because I'm trying to catch up. But yeah, sometimes I think it's just that getting into somewhere and realizing how they work, because some companies love meetings about meetings, don't they? And that the pace is very different. And then some companies joining, it's like, we've had one meeting and we're, you know, all systems go.
Exactly and having that reassurance helps.
How do you keep up, you know, with that? It's just very fast.
I think definitely organization, just like organizing yourself to the way that suits you. Say, for example, for me, a Google Calendar sometimes doesn't work in terms of my personal organization. So I try to look for more visual resources. I can just try and jot down everything that was said, maybe have it like organized according to what's due next for me personally, what tasks do I have to do, any questions the wider team asked. And that, I think, allows me to prep to be like, I know what everyone was on about last time. Next time, I've got you, kind of thing.
And that takes practice, isn't it? Because I love the fact that you just said that being organised. And I think sometimes as well, it's when you go into the world of work, you don't realise that you're allowed to prioritise your own day and your own workload. And it's almost like you're waiting for somebody to say, I need to do this next and that next, and that you need permission to move your day around. And then actually when it dawns on you, you think, oh, so I can keep up with this pace, it's fine, because I'm allowed to be organise my day, prioritise my day, which is not something, you know, when you first hit the world of work. You know, you're always waiting for permission.
I think for me, the funniest story I have about that was on my first day at Moonpig of my internship. I think it was like around lunchtime, and because in my previous job we always had lunchtime at a set time, and because at university we always have lunch at a set time as well, so it's just like, do I take lunch now? Like, I'll be back in an hour, like, can I take lunch now? They're like, yeah, like, it's okay, like, it's your lunch, please take your lunch, like, it's okay, you can move it around to how it suits you. I was like, okay, like panicking on the inside, thinking, oh my god, like, what if I leave now? Are they gonna think I've just left? But no, it's like, it's okay, go take your lunch.
Yes, and then once you're far more calmer about how the company works, that your team, as long as they know where you are, you know, it's kind of everything you think, I'm ready on my first day, I'm armed with my qualification, but actually I didn't know it was going to be like this. I think we've all felt that way. Now you're into your role, and you know what you're doing, and you're probably helping others behind you that are joining now. What do you love about your role now?
I think the best thing about my role definitely has to be how creative it is. I think a lot of people who think about data science have that preconceived notion that it's boring and bland and it's just numbers and spreadsheets and, you know, coding. But I love how creative I can be in my role and think of different new methods and approaches that aren't normally used within our business, but I can go have a look online, find different resources and be like, actually, I think this could work really well here. Maybe we can try and implement it into one of our recommendation algorithms and see how that works. And it's having that freedom just to think creatively and think outside that theoretical sense. And that's the best thing I love about my role. And I think another thing I really enjoy is working with loads of cross-functional teams. So I collaborate with such brilliant people who know so much about what they do in their team that I love hearing about and how it impacts my work and my project and my team. And I just think that was so fascinating. And I know at university, many of us would have had like team projects where it's like one person just tries to conduct it all, or like we try to split amongst us, but this is just like people who know what they're talking about, people who are great at what they do, collaborating and talking and listening. And, you know, in these meetings, I always try to like be like, oh, actually, I really enjoyed that. So how does this work for this? And hearing people speak about what they do is just always fascinating to me. Yeah. And I think the last thing I love about my role and the company I work for is the diversity inclusion committees that I'm on, and the ability to use my perspective as like a Black woman in tech help impact business in a positive way, and to help impact my even like day-to-day role of thinking how we can apply recommendations to customers from different backgrounds. So it's always working on exciting projects and like, again, using that creativity and that curiosity to work.
Yeah. And it sounds like in a couple of the points you said there that you have a lot of responsibility, but that you're trusted to have that freedom and to do what you want and to bring about change, whether it's, you know, on the diversity network or actually within your role. You know, I mean, saying that tech is creative is great to hear, because as you said, we don't hear that a lot in data science, but also that you're just trusted to, you know, you were hired because you know what you're doing, and you can be as creative and as free as you wish, because you're really trusted to do that. I mean, mental health wise, that must be, you know, you're probably not thinking, oh, you know, I'll stay here for maybe another 2 years and maybe look for something else. You know, that really would help to retain yourself and lots of other talents, I'm assuming.
Everyone I know and everyone I work with and myself personally feels valued. Doesn't matter where you're from, you know, what race, gender, ethnicity, you're valued in what you say. And even if you have a question, when we work with our teams, there's no such thing as a stupid question. It's always open floor. In our town halls that we have, it's always open floor. You can ask anybody anything. There's like no sense of like a difficult hierarchy where you think, oh God, like how can I just ask, you know, this question? I feel a bit awkward here. And I think that's made me so comfortable coming from university, where I've never worked in the industry before, to a company that loves to hear what I have to say and actually values what I have to say. And I think it's fantastic having that like support network.
Yes, it would make a huge difference to your day to day. And in terms of, you know, our listeners, do you have any advice for them if, you know, they're looking to get into tech or more specifically data science?
I think the best thing I've ever heard, I know this is a bit cringe, network is your net worth. Always asking people questions, always being curious, and always thinking, oh, how can I do that? I wonder how this works, and how can I improve this element of this thing? And always just asking that question and thinking, oh, there's always more out there. Is definitely the best advice I have. Other two great things I've heard was be resilient, because sometimes you get let down on, or you get told no, or one door closes and you feel disappointed and you think, oh, I can't do it. Or sometimes the work's really difficult and you think, oh, I feel like I'm not good enough to be here. Just be resilient. You know, you made it here, or you're going to make it there. Like, it will all work out in the end. And the last thing I definitely have to say is stick to the core values you have personally. So find what works for you and what you would like the company to represent in, like, yourself, and stick to them. Be true to who you are. You know, like, everyone always thinks, oh, I always want to, you know, work, and I always want to try and get into this industry. But I think working for a company you actually like and really enjoy the work makes such a big difference. So sticking to the core values you have for that is really important, I'd say.
Yes, and that they align with everything that you do day to day, because you're right, it must be soul destroying to work for a company where you think, actually, really, what I want to do in life doesn't align with what you guys are doing. Then it's just a job. I love the fact that you said be resilient, and that work sometimes is hard, because that is absolutely true. Not every day is sunshine and rainbows in work, and sometimes work is very hard. And like you said, if you're on a team that helps each other through those hard times, whether you're having a project that's quite challenging, and just being able to help each other through instead of throwing each other under the bus and thinking, how can we learn from this? This makes such a difference to your day-to-day, and obviously to the company, and your future at the company as well, because of how you handle those challenges. But you're right, I think some people think, well, actually you hit a bump in the road and that's it. But there is so much more.
And I think I've definitely felt that at some points, like in my early career, where it was like people my age at university have already sorted out like graduate opportunities, and I was like, oh god, I haven't got a graduate opportunity, what do I do? And it all works out in the end. And I've had instances where teachers and lecturers have been like, I don't think you're good enough for this, I don't think you should do this, I don't think you're great for it, or I think you should change what you want to do. And if I listened to them, I wouldn't be where I am now. I wouldn't love what I do now. So definitely be resilient is the best thing I've ever heard and will always say.
Yeah, and I can't believe that I hear that, a teacher said to you, no, you don't want to do that. I mean, I had teachers tell me certain things, and I think you're right. Unless it's somebody that's coming in and speaking to you as a student that works in the tech industry, some teachers just don't understand, which is a big problem with the tech industry. People don't understand the roles and how great they can be. Then sometimes you just have to follow your own heart and decide what you want to do.
Like, go for it. There's no one stopping you. Go for it.
And as well, you're a great example of that. If you want to change and do something else, if something doesn't work, then you can try something else. And like you said, when you thought, oh my god, I don't have like a grad opportunity, it's like you get that route in your mind that you have to do certain things that everyone's doing, and if you don't do it that way, you start to feel like, oh, maybe I'm failing, maybe something about this is not going to work. But we speak to ladies on here so often, and the panel that you spoke on about career transitions, people change career all the time, all stages in their careers. They try something new, and that's okay. Something doesn't work, just try something new.
Exactly. And I think a good like way to show that was when I even did my internship. I chose to do it at the data science team and also at the cybersecurity team, because I was like, I don't know, maybe I want to look into cybersecurity, maybe I want to look into data science. I don't know which one to look into. I'll do a bit of both, see what works for me. And there's so many resources online to do that, and to see, and to like look through company job descriptions, see what they have in their job descriptions that aligns with what what you like and what you will enjoy. And I think I wish someone said to me as well earlier, just go for it. What you want to do, what you enjoy, just do it.
We're almost out of time, and I've got one last question for you. What more can companies do to encourage more women into tech roles, do you think?
I think definitely what I would love to see more is more visibility and recognition, women working at the company, both internally and externally. So showing, I know Moonpig's great at showing people from different races and different aspects of diversity, and showing them internally, so on our company like portal, as well as like externally, and it's showing recognition and visibility. I think that's such a great path. I think as well, more volunteering opportunities. So I'd love to speak to someone from a different department. Back when I was back at university, I would have loved to see someone who worked at, like cybersecurity or product management, just to gain a bit more insight into what they do in their day-to-day. And I wish I attended more opportunities such as, like SheCanCode, and having seeing that online, I wish I saw it back when I was younger. So I think having that, allowing that more women from companies to speak out to like younger audience or different audiences is super important to encourage that, like more women get into tech.
Yes, definitely. And especially love the point you said of visibility, and even just what somebody's website looks like, because if you're going to apply for a job and you get on there and you think, oh yes, you can tell instantly about the company's culture just from their website, the images they use on their website, and just being slightly more mindful about what people are thinking. And I think people expect far more from companies nowadays. So those companies that perhaps, haven't, given it a good thought through yet, what that, how they're presented to the world, good talent is that they're going to be choosy about where they go. And you're right, they need to make sure that the great talent that is there is visible, and they're recognised and rewarded as well. Ash, we are already out of time. It is absolutely flown by.
No.
So thank you so much for chatting with me today. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you so much for having me. And honestly, guys, be resilient. You can do it. You've got this. Anyone wants to hit me up on LinkedIn, please do. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Lovely. Thank you so much. It was great advice, and a lovely positive note to end on. So to everybody listening, as always, thank you so much for joining us, and we hope to see you again next time.